My name is John Wayne McCure, the sonneteer from beautiful Chandler, Arizona, and I've been wanting to do this sonnet. I got 1,328, but this is number 1,060, and I keep meaning to do this on video. Why? To honor him. I admire him. I've always admired him. And in the Bible it says, one generation's here, and it goeth away, and it cometh again the next generation. What? Yeah, they're going to forget about you too. And I don't want this man forgotten. All right? The name of this sonnet is sonnet number 1016. Sammy Davis Jr. Good looking guy. He wrote a book called Yes I Can. You tell me I can't? Yes I can. Yes I can. And I read this book. I'm an old man. I read this book when I was, I think, 13. He already written a life story already, and he lived another 50 years. Well, Sensei, that's me. I read this splendid book, Yes I Can, more than 50 long years ago. Today, this great book is still relevant. Its wisdom still grows. We all have crosses to bear, sometimes falling under the weight. We're crawling onward no matter what, regaining our footing, fighting ugly fates. At that time, when I was 13 years old, Samuel David Jr. was nowhere near his career's end. His next years were going to be fabulous for him. But when he started, and I guess maybe always, he was spat on by bigots, by cowards. He was refused gigs, performances, with barely ever a helping hand. And he always was rising high above incredible odds, becoming an unparalleled star, singing virtuoso, an expert in music, a virtuoso, splendid solo singer, splendid actor, Sammy Davis Jr., a marveling dancing superstar. Man, could he dance. Maybe the best dancer ever. They tell me that he's the best. I keep thinking, I'm trying to think in my mind, who is a better dancer than him? I can't think of another dancer. He's it. Sammy Davis Jr., best dancer ever, dancing superstar. Sammy Davis Jr., his exemplary lifetime, and I always try to talk about their life. He was born in 1925. He died in 1990, so he's already been gone 30 years. Well, I think he's worth honoring, and I think he's worth not forgetting. And I see memory of him as fading. Oblivion is pervading. Lost rememberings, and I don't want him to be lost. The incidents in that book, Yes I Can, it still resonates with me after all these years. They're fresh as life's important lessons. He describes an event, this is a long time ago, a hateful time ago. It's a restaurant in Wyoming, a sumptuous dinner. Was a tattered man, he's eating greedily in a corner. Famished, poverty's cruel lessons. He doesn't have the money to pay for his meal. And they came out from the back, the chefs and the cooks, and they came out and they beat him, and they kicked him in the head, and they knocked him down, and he broke his teeth. You'd think a meal wouldn't be worth that. He was battered viciously. He had not the money to pay for his dinner. And Sammy Davis Jr. had been watching sadly, and he finally jumped in. He said, I'll pay for his meal. The bloody man said, that's all right. I just paid for it. There's people out there right now that are having such a hard time. They're reduced to that. They have nowhere to go and nothing to eat. How can this happen in America? We got to open up our economy, get people paid for their talents. We got to do it. And we can't just stay home. We can't stop living. Well, this poor man paid with the only thing he had, a beating. And people take a beating every day. Well, I'll tell you, Sammy Davis Jr., he related in that book how he never again stood by and watched ever again people tormenting other people or allowing brutalization, savagery, inflicting pain on other people. Sammy always stood up for the underdog, speaking up no matter what, bravely fighting the good fight, never hiding. Sammy Davis Jr. never hid, rising on up above everything. How often do we stand by silently while evil thrives all around us? How come we're not speaking up about people breaking the law? Huh? Liberty and freedom, we could lose it all. We got to stand by and watch that happen. How can we live with ourselves not being our brother's keepers? If they go down, we go down. We have the law and order, the Constitution, the Bill of Rights. Now is the time to listen to lessons of our true heroes. Now is a test of our honor, our ethics, fighting wicked devils. Our true heroes, they're in the military. They're in the Green Berets, in the SEALs, the sea, air, and land soldiers. Commandos that are unbelievable. Veterans, they're out there. All these people that have fought for this country, you got to help us. And that's what he was saying. Don't you ever stand by and see somebody inflicted pain on somebody else and being a bully. Sammy always stood up. He always stood up. Sammy Davis Jr., a marvelous entertainer, a superstar, unique, one of a kind. He was vision impaired. He lost one of his eyes in a car accident. He was small of stature. I think he was 5'2", 5'3", I don't remember. But I'll tell you what, Frank Sinatra and Dean Martin really liked him a lot. They made sure everybody respected him. He was small in stature, but he was a heroic Napoleon is what he was. He had his former wife when he died. She's gorgeous, my Brit, a beautiful blonde, my Brit. She said the nicest, sweetest things about him at his memorial. This man, Sammy, he died. He was a gigantic personality. I mean, come on, man, that's a short life. 65 years old. I think about how short that is. I'm 77. He was true, genuine nobility, Sammy Davis Jr. And like him, we're all tried by fire, but bullies must always be confronted wherever you find them, seeing innocent victims victimized, murdered. We stand by so afraid, fleeing our duty to help when somebody's being brutalized. Our complicit guilt because we saw it happen and we didn't stop it because we were afraid. Our souls are so dead. We got to understand we're afraid of our own light. When you're a little kid, they can't shut you up. But life beats you down and breaks you down. You think, I can't do this anymore. I can't do this anymore. But you got to listen to this. It's the light that scares you. The light when you were little that they couldn't shut you up. The light is that's the answer to everything. I want to read this to you. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. You are a child of God. You are powerful beyond measure. Your playing small does not serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We were all meant to shine as children do. It is not just in some of us, it is in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our very presence automatically liberates others. Now, that was written by John Nelson A. Rockefeller, 1908, 1979, but that's beautiful. He's Vice President of the United States, Nelson Rockefeller. Now, I want you to remember this. Sammy Davis Jr., he was never afraid of his light. Where's your light? Is it dead? Do you need to be recharged? Do you need to see purpose in life? Well, help us save liberty and freedom in America. We could lose it all. That election, that's November the 3rd, is the most important election since Lincoln running for the second term. They were going to let America go. And that's what's happening now. We're all going to be, don't worry about your business. We'll give you a government job. We'll give you government cheese. We'll take care of you. Don't worry. Don't worry about a thing. And Sammy Davis Jr., he had so much light. He spread it everywhere. And I don't want his name to be forgotten. And that's why I wanted to read his sonnet, Sammy Davis Jr. Yes, I can. No matter what happened to him, and some terrible things happened to him, but he always came out on top. And he took a lot of abuse. No man should have to take that kind of abuse. And still, he fought on. He let his light shine everywhere. And I'm asking you to let your light shine. I'm a radical Yankee Republican, and we don't want a civil war. But you better stand up right now. Why? Because they're going to take away everything. The Democrats, Satan's little helpers. And you got to help us. And the elites want to run the world. Are you going to let them? The Nuremberg trials, that judge at the end, Spencer Tracy, he said, America and this tribunal are dedicated to truth, justice, and the value of a single human being. That movie affected me more than any other movie. Why? Because it says, yeah, the value of each single human being. And we could lose it all to these oligarchs that want to take over the world. They want to run the Democrats. They want to run Tweety birds in Twitter. They're going to tell us what to read. We got to get ready. It's now. We got to vote, vote, vote. And if you haven't voted, you got to vote for Donald Trump. Donald Trump is my hero. He's capitalist. You get paid for your talents. The rule of law, the Constitution, the Bill of Rights. It's simple. Low taxes, tough military, and let people go. Let them create. Let them become themselves. Let them prosper in competition, which is America, freedom, liberty, and we're going to lose it. I love you. I'll never ever even see your face, but I'm telling you now, I love the American people. And I used to teach this stuff, American history and civics and world history. And I like teaching it. Why? It's just people, and you're people, and we got to fight up. We got to fight for liberty right now and freedom, like where it's going to be gone, because it's going to be gone if the Democrats win. They're the ones that had the slaves. They want to make us all slaves again, and they're doing it. If your business burns down, don't worry about it. We'll get you a job, government job. I think you're smarter than that. I really think American people are a hell of a lot smarter than anybody. They're like Brother Rabbit. Brother Rabbit, he don't know nothing. And Brother Fox, he lay low. I love that, man. He lay low. And you're laying low good. But it's time to stand up. And Sammy Davis Jr., he stood up his whole life. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Don't let anybody tell you that you can't, something that's legal. Don't let anybody tell you that you can't. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Thank you for listening. God bless us, everyone that they make Hebrews in.